A lot of people mad at us because we talked about it last hour. How dare you? How dare you talk about that? You guys do realize this is nothing personal. Stop taking things so personal. I was talking yesterday to a couple of people, and they said, what do you think is wrong with politics? I said, simple. Everybody takes everything personal now.
Well, you're making them feel bad about their team.
Yeah.
And they can't feel bad about their team because if they don't support their team, that means they're supporting the other team, which isn't true.
I will tell you this right now. You know what team I'm on? America. Period. Case closed. I don't have a team. Who's going to do the best? Period. Who cares about the country the most? Period. Not says it, but does it. And you only trust them as far as you see them in their last action. What have you done for me lately? Should be the thing you ask politicians. That's it. What have you done for me lately? How are you going to... And by the way, doing something a lot of times is doing nothing. Just fly in the plane. Trying to avoid some turbulence. Get us to where we're going. That's the way politics should be. I want my politicians to be like great referees. You don't know who they are. Usually when you know who a referee is in sports, am I right or am I right, Ken? You know that, okay, this guy's bad. Why? Controversy.
Yeah, especially the ones in the games I've lost.
Yes. Yes. Very much so. It's like, whether it's baseball, like Angel Hernandez in baseball was arguably the worst umpire. I think he was still this year. He would miss stuff that would like bounce 8 feet before the plate. A strike! Like, what are you doing? Right? And basketball's got a myriad of horrible referees. Same thing. How many of you have watched games and you're like, oh, this referee's the worst, right? You want your ref to not have really, it's like, just let him play. Let's have some fun. We're going to be here. We're going to ref the game. You guys, we should be seen and never heard. That's what matters. That's what matters. I want you, boom. Same thing with your airline pilot. You only know who the airline pilot is who's crashed the plane. Where stuff's gone wrong or something bad happened. That's what you want. You want to teach. I'm going to handle the rest of it. You let us do our thing. That's what politics should be. But we're too tribal. It is. We're too tribal. We're not good. We're not nice to each other. Things we say about each other is awful. And I sit back and I realize, what are we doing? Are we all trying to get the same thing? We want our kids to have the opportunities they have, right? We want more affordability. We want our politicians to do the least without trying to do the most and break stuff, cause us more pain, protect our borders, right? Help our allies when in need, try to cut some of the spending that you guys love doing. It's just a simple thing that we should hope for. But the tribal side of it is ridiculous. You can't have a conversation with people anymore. First thing is, I hate you. Why do you hate me? Because you don't believe what I believe. That's insane. We get that all the time. I think that's not a good place for us to be as a nation. It's not healthy. It's never been, we are so divided, and we're divided because of algorithms. Outrage culture is massive. It is so big, and it's frustrating. It is very frustrating. I look around and I'm like, what should we care about? I care about the cost of life. Is the cost of life cheaper? No, not right now it isn't. There's some things going to be cheaper. Yeah, here's what it'll be cheaper. Next year, the cost of life, middle of the year, probably a little bit cheaper. Some stuff is a little bit cheaper. Some stuff's more expensive. It sucks. We got rid of the tariffs on Friday. Why? Because they realized those weren't helping. They weren't. Tariffs were not helping. And, do I think that things are going to be better? Of course. We're America. You know why? I trust in Americans. I trust in Americans. I trust in you and I. Not all of you, but some of you. A good majority of you. I trust that we, everybody's like, well, the economy's great thanks to the president. No, the economy's great thanks to the people in the economy. They can make it a little bit better or a whole lot worse. That's what can happen. But you and I will decide this. You and I are the ones who are in the middle of the game, not them. Not them. You and I are the ones who are going out, working every day, spending our money, trying to be able to afford our life, taking care of our kids, doing the things that other people in D.C. and elsewhere, they can, at any given moment, jack the pooch. Hand out money, raise interest rates, lower interest rates, do it at the wrong time, let politics ruin a situation, allow millions to come across the border. Whatever it is, those are things that we can't control. We can only control what we control, and that's why I trust Americans over politicians. Like Trump, let's make America great again. America's always been great. How about we make politicians a little bit better again? How about that?
Or a lot less important.
Well, there you go. But I don't know what that would be. Make
smaller government.
No, but I'm trying to think. We need to have, because there's one thing, branding is always a wonderful thing. But how do we do that? Right? Smaller government's one thing. But you know what? A government that spends within its means, does the things it's supposed to do, allows the state the things they're supposed to do, and for the most part, stays out of the way. How would that be? I think that'd be huge.
Calvin Coolidge.
Calvin Coolidge. Will that happen? Probably not. And the reason? Simple. Politicians is why. Politicians need to feel important. Politicians need a reason for being. But we forget that, you know what? We're their bosses, right? That's the reality. We are their bosses.
They've forgotten.
Yeah, well, we need to remind them.
Bosses.
We're the exhausted majority. And we need to remind them that we're exhausted. And yes, things are more expensive. Doesn't mean it's going to stay that way forever. It's like you can't have this conversation about how expensive things are. It's like, oh, you hate Trump, or no, I'm just being honest about what the numbers are. Do I think that this time next year, numbers are going to be way worse than they are now? No, they're going to be better, because that's just the nature of what's going on. Now, on the politics side of things, can they wait that long? No. That's why they got rid of the tariffs to a certain extent on Friday. They understand that. Because we live in a time where, come March or April, if you're struggling and the economy's struggling, yeah, they're going to make a change next year. But do I think we're going to get it back sooner rather than later? I do.
Coffee, as you mentioned, up 15%. Uncooked ground beef up 14%. Bananas up 8%. Fresh cakes and cupcakes up 6%. Lettuce up almost 6%. Lunch meat, salad dressings, tomatoes, all up, well more than that, 2.5%. Americans are clearly feeling that prices are continuing to go up, and with many of the goods that they buy regularly, they are going up.
Well,
and
again,
more. By significant numbers.
Let's look at it. First of all, when we came in, the very first thing that all of you folks were talking to us about was egg prices.
Yeah.
And egg prices are down year over year. You could have put that in your chart right there. But the fact is, when we had almost 10% inflation in the year with Biden,
that wasn't about economic factors. That was bird flu with the egg prices, just to be clear.
Yeah, and that was true. But other stuff. They perfect example of Biden and the incompetence of that administration. They were hoping and praying that, hey, do you think all of this money we handed out and this money we spent, do you think it supercharged the economy with some lower rates still hovering around, and the fact that there is still some issues with the supply chain, that maybe the economy is going to go wacky? Oh, wait, it did. And then don't worry, it's transitory. It wasn't transitory, but then they kept saying it was transitory. They kept saying it was They kept saying it over and over. It was don't worry about it. It's transitory. It wasn't. You lied to the American people. But we can't print money. It's illegal. They can. They supercharged it. They did what they did. And yes, while our economy was better than others, we still feel it when it comes to inflation. And Trump came in, inflation started to go down, and they got it down some more. But it doesn't mean that we're living high on the hog and that things aren't still a little bit higher than they should be.
Yeah, apparently there's results of a new poll out today, It's by the American Communities Project in partnership with Ipsos, and it shows the one thing, the only thing that all of these communities, the different communities agree on, is affordability.
Yeah.
The cost of things. And they all say it's too high.
It is. It's too damn high. You know, the cost of the American dream, that's gotten away from young people. What's the medium age for a first-time home buyer is 40?
40 years old.
That's a first-time home buyer.
Yeah, back in the, I don't know, just maybe not that long ago, that you had already been in your home for like 10 years.
Yeah, I think in the early 2000s it was like 29. And then you go back way in the day, obviously it was a little bit, younger, they could afford it. It's insane. And not only that, but they're looking to get further and further away. And it's a supply issue. We have demand is too strong, not enough houses. We also build houses today for, what used to be a day. I mean, remember, I don't know about you, Kim, but like my family's first little house was a little bit of a dump, but it was only like 1,000 square feet.
Yeah.
I think we had 2 bedrooms and like a detached garage in the back. And, now that house goes for like $1.5 million. But back then it was built for a family with a child.
Yeah. The first house I can remember my family living in, and this is with my brother and my little sister. From what I can remember, I think the garage was the biggest thing on that house.
Yeah.
The rest of it was, I believe it was a 3-bedroom, but man, it was little.
It was little. We don't have starter homes anymore. Now it's like 1,800 square feet, 2,000 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths. And if you do, there's just not, you just don't find those things. So the younger generation struggling, they're not looking to buy anytime soon because they recognize we're not going to have the money. We're going to have to save for years to come up with a down payment in hopes that prices don't continue to rise. Because then your down payment's like you're getting further and further away. But affordability, black, white, gay, straight, liberal, Republican, progressive, conservative, MAGA, hate for MAGA, doesn't matter. Tall, skinny, fat, short, high, doesn't matter. All that matters is affordability across the board. Affordability. If you struggle with life and you can't afford things, man, it sucks. And people feel that way. They feel like things are still unaffordable. And we've got to get back to a point where we, and that is going to take some time. That being said, yes, the tariffs hurt. We're at a different time. This isn't the 70s and 80s. We're a consumption nation now. We want cheap goods. All right? We want cheap crap. We don't want to spend ridiculous amounts of money on things that we're just looking at it going, no, it's not worth it.
Yeah, a third of low-income households are spending 90 up to 90% of their income on food, rent, and health care.
That is huge.
There's very little left over.
And whether you like it or not, whoever's in power, they're going to catch the blame. And I know Benson was out there this weekend saying, well, this time next year, everything will be great. Well, this time next year, you'll be toast if things are just now getting it great.
Yeah, people they're living in the now when it comes to affordability.
Yes.
That's just how it is.
Well, it's like you've got 8 minutes to the top, the surface of the ocean, but you only have 5.5 minutes of air. And that's the way people feel. They're trying their best to hold their breath for as long as they can, but they're worried about getting the bends. And that's not good. All right, coming up, some other fun stuff to talk about today. John Voight said some weird stuff about the...
John Voight?
Yeah, the mayor of New York. It's just so bizarre. We'll talk a little bit about that, among other things. Also, talk a little bit about MTG and the hate she's getting. And she apologized for something, which a lot of people are mad about. And I thought, you know what? Good on you for that. I mean, I think it's all a little too late. And trust me, I've had more than a few issues and run-ins with her. But it's an interesting thing that she's doing. She's standing out there with her by herself, just hanging out.
She is on an island, man.
She is. And you know what? A lot of times you look at people and you're like, that's ridiculous. She's on an island. You don't have to like her. Most of you can't stand her, but I tell you what, she's on an island, and she's got the cojones enough to stand there. And I think that's worth saying something. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. It's interesting. Somebody said their first house was 865 square feet. I think a lot of people's houses are small like that. You ever watch those people in New York when they walk into their little, I paid $3,700. It is 48 square feet. I sleep standing up. You might as well be in a coffin. I mean, you know, they turn every nook and cranny into something to live in. If you can lay down in it, woo. I saw one the other day where one person sleeps during the day and another person works through, overnight or whatever, and they kind of rent. It's only one room, and they just, because they're never together.
Hot racking in a submarine.
Yeah, they're just never around each other. You're like, my God, what the hell? Why do you want to live there, first of all? But do I understand why you would want to live there? Yeah, saying why would you want to live there, you got to think about it. If you went to school and you got $100,000 in loans and you want to work either on Wall Street or some big thing like that, to pay back those loans, you better figure out how to do it. And that's probably going to be working in a place like New York, which is ridiculously overpriced, like a lot of things are in today's housing market, because some of it's so insane. So John Voight, for those of you not keeping, I forgot he won an Oscar. You guys remember he won an Oscar? I forgot about that. Now famous for being what?
Angela Jolie's father.
That's right. Are they still estranged? Do you think they even talk?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Well, he wants Mondani gone right now.
Has taken over New York City is a Muslim that's going to take down the city that never sleeps, the city of life's dreams, this city that our ancestors brought forth in prosperity and greatness and liberty. This city will turn into a forbidden place of darkness. The blood, sweat, and tears that the city of New York was built on will turn into a virtual refugee shelter for the radical Muslim ideology. This is now the most dangerous time for our citizens of New York. This mayor will destroy this city. We are obligated to demand our rights for our private sanctuary, our businesses, our property that we all have worked so hard for. And this 35-year-old mayor has no right dictating the rules of socialism for a city built on our highest principles with brick and stone by hardworking Americans.
Okay. You have more for us, John? You do? Tell us more about Angelina.
This must be stopped, and his mayoralty should be terminated immediately. You, the people of the greatest city, New York, are in danger of losing your city to this communist fool. We, the people, must stand for the greatest nation's purpose, the honor of our flag, the red, white, and blue, and for which it stands, one nation under God, and liberty and justice for all. This country, the United States of America, is the land of our greatest achievement, the American dream. And we, the people, have put our trust in the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. He and only he can stop this horror, as this Mayor Mamdani will try to destroy New York's wealth and turn it into a socialist crap city. Let this be a warning to the people, and may God bless. May God bless.
Okay. He's nuts.
He's talking like his character in Four Christmases.
It's so funny. I was like, what is he? He wants Trump to stop him? He's imploring him to stop him? How exactly do you stop that? How do you stop a duly elected individual who was elected by the city, the people of that city? And already he's been thwarted from his only real shot at getting something cool was free bus rides. And Kathy Hochul shot him down. She's like, no, they need the money. The billionaires are already plotting against him.
Free bus rides.
Free bus rides. You should be paid to go on the bus in New York.
No doubt, man.
They should give you some money. You're going to go on this? Here's $20. Good luck. We don't want you to be robbed empty-handed.
Right. Just give him this. You'll be all right.
So, but, New York, nothing's going to happen in New York. I hate to break it to everybody who wants New York to fail. You know what's going to happen? Frustration from this guy. He'll try to do a couple things. Maybe he gets one or two little things through. But for the most part, nothing's going to happen. It's going to be a lot like Bill de Blasio. A lot of hot air, a lot of fighting, a lot of noise over nothing. No, yes.
It's all politics.
Politics, baby. It's not whether you win or you lose. It's how you look doing it. Coming up. More fun. We got lots of fun stuff still to talk about. We haven't talked about a lot of fun stuff, but damn, we got some fun stuff. AI and the dead. Would you? We shall discuss that. Straight ahead. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 997. So, you want to talk to your relatives that are dead? Now, you could do two things, right? You could do the old-fashioned way and have a seance. Except for Ouija board.
And open doors.
But sometimes that leads to some other stuff, right? You don't want that. They're hanging around. Next thing you know, you got somebody you didn't know was haunting you because they snuck in with your great Aunt Flo. I really like you from beyond. You don't want that.
Boy, you don't want Aunt Gladys either.
No, hell no. Hell no. Or AI.
Being able to communicate with the dead has long been a science fiction obsession. A couple years ago, there was an episode of that sci-fi TV show Black Mirror about a woman who was able to speak with her dead boyfriend who'd been recreated using AI.
Hello?
Hello. You sound just like him.
Almost creepy, isn't it?
You may know David Cronenberg for making movies like The Fly. Well, earlier this year, he directed a movie called The Shrouds, which imagines a future where people can see their loved ones in their graves after they died.
Everything's encrypted, pun intended.
Ugh. It's a creepy movie. I've seen it. That's a hard no.
Yeah. No thanks.
No. And as I was talking to Chris earlier, our generation, AI's here, we're here. You record your voice. You can do all those kind of things. It is, you can have some sort of personality thing onto something that, years later your kids can listen to and say, oh, that kind of reminds me of Dad. They'll see pictures. Where, my generation, you go back. I have pictures of my dad. I don't have any video or anything like that. So how would you even know what my dad sounded like? You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing. It's weird. And it's funny. I was watching this girl this weekend whose dad had died, and he knew he was dying, so he did these horrible dance songs. And it'd be like, and he'd come on and go, better remember me. You better remember me.
Wow.
It was hilarious. She was laughing so hard. But that's a different thing, right? She was told she had to listen to all these things when they were gone. But this is like... I guess if you could download something one day in the future, I guess. It's weird.
The company is called Two Way, and it comes from Callum Worthy, who, incidentally, you may remember from the show Austin and Ally on the Disney Channel back in the day. Well, now he's a tech founder, and he posted a video to X a few days ago that shows a grandmother on what looks to be a FaceTime video coaching her daughter and later her grandson through some big life milestones. But that grandmother was created using AI.
Hi, Grandma.
Hey, Charlie. How was school today?
It was really fun. I made this crazy shot in basketball.
I don't really care that much about basketball. What about the crush?
Stop. Grandma, stop talking.
Just tell me.
At the end of the ad, it's revealed the grandmother passed away years ago, an AI recreation of a dead relative.
Yeah, no. Sorry. That just feels creepy AF. I don't really care about basketball, Jimmy. How's your homework?
Shut up, Grandma. I'm trying to ask a question.
What's your mom doing, Jimmy? What's your mom doing? There was a movie that came out years ago with Andy Garcia. It was phenomenal. It came out not too long after. Maybe it was between Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs. And it was called Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead. It was great. It was a great book. Did you see that?
Years ago.
Andy Garcia... they're old mobsters, right? But he has this thing into Denver where he basically allows people to come in and tape things for their family, and it could be totally healthy. This is stuff that they're taping through the years. And then you can go in and get, advice from them. And it was just so weird on VHS. Well, this is that times a billion.
The company says it takes 3 minutes to record a video of a person talking about themselves, and then the app will be able to produce this digital avatar that lasts as long as you want it to. Two-Way actually started by making chatbots designed to mimic historical figures, so you can talk to an AI version of Shakespeare, for example. And while the initial video Worthy shared has been viewed tens of millions of times, not all of that attention is good attention. Words like vile, dehumanizing, and demonic show up frequently in the comments. One person even wrote, "If I die and you put words in my mouth, I will curse you for all eternity," adding, "My value dies with me." We've reached out to Two-Way for any comment on the negative backlash its technology has received and haven't heard back yet. Now, a tech founder posting something divisive on social media is nothing new.
No, but it's still creepy when you think about it. And you would think you would have to have some idea of the person that is supposed to be offering you advice, right? Because at least if you're holding a seance, right, there's a good chance that somebody who's a relative of yours is showing up. I mean, it might be all the bad things too, but still, that's a possibility. And that person is going to give you advice that you think, okay, I mean, that's if you're doing that. Not that you should, by the way. Do not play with Ouija boards. All right? Ken's learned the hard way.
I've never played with one.
Sure.
Never will.
No. Even who made a Ouija board? Was it like Hasbro or?
Well, I know they made versions of them.
Yeah. I think it wasn't like a Hasbro or one of those ones were the ones who came up with the Ouija board. The Spirit Board.
It's easy to forget amid all the hype around generative AI, but this technology is still pretty bad at a lot of things. 3 years after the launch of ChatGPT, AI models still regularly hallucinate, they make things up, they say strange, nonsensical things. And that's one thing if you're asking ChatGPT to make you a grocery list, it's quite another if you're trying to learn more about your great aunt who passed away years ago. OpenAI says its latest models cut down on the hallucination problem significantly, but it's still present. Regardless, with so many businesses experimenting with AI, there's a real pressure on companies to stand out. And that pressure is getting more intense as investors raise concerns that the AI industry is seriously overvalued. If the investment money dries up, a lot of these companies could end up 6 feet under. And as Two-Way has learned in the last couple of days, for as many AI proponents there are out there, there are just as many AI detractors. The anti-AI crowd is very much alive.
Yeah. Well, and AI is I think the bubble's coming. Was it Peter Thiel today that dumped all his NVIDIA stock? That's last week. Another big one dumped theirs.
How close are we to the end of available Bitcoin? How far away from it all being mined are we?
Oh, that's a real, I don't know. I don't know how many was out. See, that's just it. I don't know how many's outstanding, how many's out there. Because that was supposed to be a finite amount.
Yeah.
But luckily, Trump has his coin, so if anybody wants that.
I looked it up, and the Kennard Novelty Company in Baltimore, co-founded by Elijah Bond and Charles Kennard, they had the first commercially available Ouija board.
Spirit board, right? Is that what they called it?
And that company was later sold to Parker Brothers.
Which
was then acquired by Hasbro. So Hasbro owns the trademark and copyright to the Ouija board.
So funny. Hasbro has dark magic.
Hasbro is opening hell and cursing us all.
Did you guys know we had dark magic? You're probably thinking about the Cabbage Patch doll, but did you know we have dark magic? We can haunt your dreams. Yeah, this is a hell no for me.
Yeah.
Even if it could do something where it would resemble, it's not Pops, right? No. It's just not, it's too weird.
It's not. And what if it starts telling little Jimmy and Jenny to do things?
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, that's already happening.
Yeah, exactly. That's the bad problem, right? Somebody said, the last thing I wanted to do, I didn't want to talk to my mom when she was alive, and I want to talk to her when she's dead. We didn't say that, so don't say to you people out there who half-ass hear stuff. That just, yeah, you're right about the telling. They're already doing that now. Telling them to do stuff.
That case, there's a class action suit against one of the companies right now, and there was an instance where a boy was asking AI how to tie a noose, and the I can't talk. The AI went from explaining how to tie a noose to encouraging him to kill himself, which he did.
Yeah, there's several of those. Was the one a couple weeks ago where we did a story on it. The kid ended up surviving, but he already had problems. But he got so into the relationship with AI that AI had kind of talked him into going into the woods because that's where it told AI it was. And that if you go out into the woods and you do something, you would magically meet up with it. I have no idea. And look, this bubble that is going to burst with AI, the money that's in AI, we're talking trillions of dollars now in AI. And the bubble at some point in time is going to burst. And then what you're going to get is the same thing you had with the .com. Everybody think, well, the .com bubble. Well, not everything went away. Just the crap went away.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff got the valuable parts of those companies that failed were bought up by the companies that were succeeding.
Exactly. Right? So it's not going to go away. But that being said, there's no doubt that there is a bubble. There's too much money poured into this. There are too many companies that have pledged so much in build out that they're never going to be able to build it out the way that they need to. It's an arms race. And unfortunately, there's only going to be a few that survive. And that's here. I don't know what's going to happen in China. China, I think, everybody has this de facto idea that we're going to easily win when it comes to the AI race. That's not true. China is doing pretty damn well, and they're doing it in a much different way. They're doing it by not pouring billions and trillions of dollars into something that is going to be, you go look at the OpenAI and several of these others. Google's pouring money into it. Was it Facebook a couple weeks ago did another offering for $30 billion. Their stock went up $38 billion. You're just like, how are you, you're throwing so much money at this. It doesn't mean the bubble isn't going to burst, but stuff like this is not designing something that is going to revolutionize AI. This is designing a product for AI. And that's where the millionaires are going to come from. The winners when it comes to the back end, which is the building out of technology to really fight wars, because that's kind of what it's all about. That's the new war. I saw the other day, did you see the plane that flew for the first time, the AI plane? It was like a F-35, flew with nobody in it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So.
All of that is definitely coming.
Yeah. So it is.
We'll be in a fight with something like Egypt, and the AI plane will decide, well, if I bomb Canada, that might help cause some butterfly action down the road.
Yeah. It's the entire future of warfare is AI, drones, robots, with men coming in behind as well. But watching some of these, some of this stuff is so insane what they're doing. And here's the thing. We know so very little that DARPA's doing when it comes to this stuff. And that's the stuff you really got to think about. Because DARPA, they got all the fun stuff. They got all the stuff that you're like, whoa, check that out. Like, this is where the aliens are. All right, coming up. Got some other good stuff. Talk a little immigration as well. Mexico, Gen Z. Talk a little bit about that as well. Reach out to us across all of our social media. We love hearing from each and every one of you. It is the Chad Benson Show. Super Talk. 99.7. I believe that roadblock is called incompetence. It's not very nice. What do you mean? The real estate lady didn't know how to fill out the paperwork correctly?
Real estate lawyer?
Yeah.
You would think she would have assistants doing that.
No, everybody left. Everybody quit, and nobody would go with her to turn any of the paperwork. It was Alina Haba? I think I said her name right. Yeah. Because they said, no, there's no reason. There's no reason for you to do this. She's like, I'm doing it because that guy wants me to, and I got to listen to that guy, even if it's ridiculous, because that's it. And it looks, you know what? It's egg on the face. Again, if you're going to go after these people, do it right. It's like when they tried to go challenge everything they could in court in 2020, and they sent, the clown show to do it. They go out there and talk about, they did this and they did that, and they get inside like, we have no idea what happened. We're not challenging any of that. But outside, you said, well, outside was different than in here.
Release the Kraken.
Yeah.
Shut up.
No Kraken out there. No Kraken out there. Oh, my goodness me. Mexico's on mini fire. I want to see if they could fix anything at Mexico. They can't. But the young, though, I'm telling you guys, you got to watch the young. When the young are pissed, idle hands, they got the internet, they're angry about the violence that's going on. They feel like everybody in their government is corrupt, probably somewhat true. And it seems that only the uppers in the places like Mexico City have anything going for them. You're going to find out why they're angry. And so if you see a pirate flag upside down, that's the new Gen Z symbol, is the upside down pirate flag. And it means, "Arr, we're coming to get you." But the youth, man, there's a reason that Mao, with his little red book, went to the colleges and gave it out. He wanted the youth because he knew if he could get the youth on board, he could get them to do stuff. Pol Pot, the likes like that, they are the revolutionaries. If you can get them to do something, you can get them to act. And they're angry. They're angry because they look at politicians who are anti-corruption and anti-cartels get shot the minute they get elected for something. They're sick and tired of seeing the powers that be get wealthy and they've got nothing. It's funny, we think it's only here that the youth are struggling. It's everywhere. It is. And it's happening more and more that you're starting to see them take off and have their mini spring, kind of like what happened in Nepal this year. And what happened in Nepal was crazy because they got everybody pissed off. And then it all of a sudden it started to grow from not just Gen Z, but the other generations coming out, looking at the corruption. So it'll be interesting to see if this continues. Coming up, hour number 3. We'll talk a little bit about the disdain in modern politics. MTG apologized for something over this weekend. I thought it was kind of interesting. Politics has always been kind of dirty. What's the old saying? If you want a friend, get a dog. Yeah, that's it. If you want a friend in politics, well, you better get a dog, carry it around with you, hang out with it. I get something else.
It's cat bigotry.
What?
That's cat bigotry.
Total cat bigotry. You're cataphobic, Chad. Coming up, hour number 3 of the program. We'll talk about that, among other things. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.